All the legislation of the world has had its origin in the desires of one class of persons to plunder and enslave others and hold them as property. He says a war carried on upon one side for chattel slavery and on the other for political slavery. Government is in reality established by the few, and these few assume the consent of all the rest without any such consent being actually given. So he's promoting morality here and saying, based on what we understand with morality, governments are actually not very moral institutions. Contrary to popular opinion, he's saying in reality it's not based on consent. In reality, it's based on war, and it's established by the few, and these few assume the consent of all the rest. And he says the number of slaves, instead of being diminished by the Civil War, has actually increased because a government that you don't want is, making you ultimately a slave because you have no choice but to comply with that. Now, you say, oh, well, he's just one abolitionist, but what if I told you have a whole list? I mean, here's a leading abolitionist from the 1800s who says we do not acknowledge allegiance to any human government, right? I mean, we cannot hold any office which imposes upon its incumbent the obligation to compel men to do right on pain of imprisonment or death. We therefore voluntarily exclude ourselves from all political authority, right? I mean, here's another one. Byron J. Butts, an abolitionist, saying just so long as the individual depends on the government to settle morality, so slavery will always exist. Aidan Ballou is saying that basically political power hinders and obstructs moral power by every means possible, and it's wedded to slavery. So how do we abolish slavery? The abolitionist is telling us moral suasion, convincing people it is wrong. Most people will say it's wrong nowadays, but yet how many people are going against their conscience? How many people know about moral power? How many people know about the abolitionist?